Alright, it's about 5 days later, and I'm just gonna do a quick pull on the rest of these. I wasn't even gonna video this, but I saw what I had gotten out of the very first jar, and I was actually pleasantly surprised because I had kind of sat around for a little while and waited for these to do something, and it seemed like they were just moving a lot slower than I had previously been seeing. So I don't know, maybe I was crazy, maybe I just hadn't been sitting around, because I usually sit around with these and shake them up and watch the little, you know, gold flakes. I'm half-ass retarded, and I'd say what people would probably call autistic. So yeah, who doesn't love to watch little gold flakes swirl around, you know what I'm saying? Well, motherfucker. Anyway, yeah, look at that. All that time I spent waiting because I felt like it wasn't going as fast. Hold on a second, let me see. I don't think I'm gonna be able to. Wait, yeah, I think I can do it like that, right? I just want you guys to see that flake that... Nope. Shit, now I've lost it. No, it's right there. What the hell am I doing wrong here? Okay, hold on a second. Come on, come on. Okay, now. There. Check that flake out. That's what I was saying, too. This isn't just normal... I done lost it. This isn't your everyday gold scrap. This was off of some there it is. That is an actual flake that has peeled back from its shell. And you can see it doesn't float around in the solution. It's gold colored on both sides, so it's not like that crappy stuff that you sometimes get that's like steel plated on one side, and then you've got the gold attached to that steel, or to that copper, which the copper will eventually go away if you leave it inside a solution like I do of the high percentage vinegar and the hydrogen peroxide or whatever. But yeah, the copper will eventually go away. You don't want to get that steel shit stuck in your final jar of gold. That's for sure. I wouldn't say it's... You can just take a magnet and draw it up the sides, I guess. I haven't tried to do that yet, but it probably wouldn't be too hard. It would just be an unnecessary step if you can avoid it. Sims cards have little tiny steel backings on their gold, so I don't have enough Sims cards to try to do any kind of real recovery on that anyway, but I have got one going in there with a few, and I'll show you guys later that I feel like it's one of those materials that just isn't worth it. Anyway, yeah, what are you listening? Because this is pure, this right here is 30% vinegar, and I didn't dilute it down any. And then I put hydrogen peroxide in there over a course of, I don't know, a few days. Sorry guys, my mouth is so dry right now. I feel like I'm talking with a lisp. I don't even know, but I'm gonna try to get through it without pausing, because like I said, I don't know how to stitch videos together yet. I'm just gonna do one take. We're gonna get through this, and honestly, it will be not legible, but what's the same dealio that with hearing said? Audible and able to be deciphered. Alright, let's see what we get out of this one. I did get another filter while I was out. Another of the same ones, because those little paper ones I had were just, if you let them stay wet, they just disintegrated basically. So I got another one of these black filters right here that's conical shaped. Hold on, let me get my fingers jars out of the way so y'all can see. This one's flat, and that one goes down into a cone. So it'll sit right there, and this one can sit right inside it, and you can see it's working fine. Hell, I've got enough gold right now to make myself happy with the outcome. There we go. Had to make myself a new spray bottle because I couldn't figure out what happened to the old one. I'm hoping someone didn't pick it up and drink it, because I like to sometimes reuse the water that's down in the bucket if it doesn't have a bunch of acid in it already. This one does, so I really shouldn't even be adding more water to it. That's just making it more volume for me to have to try to get rid of later, which will be a little bit of a pain in the ass, but we'll get to that when the time comes. That's just 2 jars. Like I said, that first one I didn't get around to showing y'all, but I seen what it put out, so I said, yeah, I'm gonna show them what's up. All right, so my first set of jars, these are really the only things I like to recycle. I like to recycle any kind of cards that have gold fingers or gold plating on the actual, they're not cards, but you know, just PCBs, any kind of electronics that have an actual gold plating. I do actually think that's gold on that one. It's just like one of those lighter golds, but yeah, I've got anything in here that is PCB related that has a gold on it. That's the first one. The second one I have is the gold plated steel connectors that had copper in with the steel, and I cut them off of the boxes. That's what's in here. And then or no, the boxes aren't in here, sorry, that's in a different thing. These are the tops of the boxes, the steel plates that were thin enough for me to get the gold off of. And then the connectors as well, the ones that what am I doing wrong here? The ones that I felt were steel all the way through, which I think I still got a couple of them wrong. Well, I mean, obviously, the liquid is dark blue. Anyway, you'll see this actually gets a little bit more gold going through it than you would think it does. Can I do it? Can I do it? I don't think I'm gonna be able to show you. It's like, maybe I can get it on one side and then show it to you. It's like heavy gold too. It goes ahead and separates immediately. So it's pretty thick. And I don't think it has steel attached to it. Man, this cotton mouth is talking with me hard. Alright, let's just go ahead and get through it, because I'm not going to be able to talk much longer. Oh, damn. Mask up for that one. Got a big old mouthful of vinegar fumes. Vinegar fumes. Now this jar, I'll actually have to empty the stuff out of it because that gold in the bottom's so heavy. I'm going to have to empty that jar out after I do all this and actually rinse the pieces off to get that last bit of gold out of there. I'll show you what I mean. That whole corner, kind of hard to see, but that whole corner right there is just filled with the sediment. And it's actually like it is pure gold sediment, but it's just very heavy in the way that they had these plated specifically. So these are legit. These are super legit. If I ever see these on some telecommunication boards, I haven't had to replace these. I've been getting all this gold, which I'll probably only end up with like a few, maybe I'll get like 5 grams by the time I get it all done. I think I've already got one together, but I'm pretty sure I'll end up with like 2.5 to 3 grams at least. I don't know. I haven't weighed it. I've done this once before and got a gram together, and I've got that stashed away with some other gold filled items that I did this technique with too, and kind of experimented around a little bit with. Anyway, let's go ahead and get the other jar going. Last jar so I can get this done with. These are the only other things I like to do this with, and that is the ribbons inside of computers that have gold. You want the gold ones, not the silver ones, but they have the gold on them. And then you can also get them, now you see those little silver circles right in the middle there? On the other side, those are gold. Those come off of printer cartridges, and also inside the printer itself sometimes will have, or well, quite a few times I've seen will have some gold, heavy gold plating on whatever's going to be touching that printer cartridge. So both of those have them, but the printer cartridges, I'd like to get a bunch of those. If you ever get a chance to come across those, pick them up. They have usually like 4 dots of gold, but they're like squares instead of these mini little dots that you once again can't see because there we go. But yeah, if you look around, all that crap floating up there is actually, this is always a good one to do. I try to keep this one filled up. I've refilled it twice since I've started this, and it's still just, you know, producing as much as ever. Because you can give it a little bit of a swirl and that gold just stays suspended in that liquid long enough for you to actually be able to throw it down into your jar. And there's always gold left in the bottom of these, but right now I know there's enough to be gathered still that I'm just gonna not bother rinsing all these off and taking them out of here. I'm not gonna bother getting all that off because there's still a lot more in the bottom to get. And I'll tell you what I might do though. I might give this a little rinse on the bottom side here. Show you how I'm doing this. I have it turned away from where I have all the gold, and I'm hitting the bottom of it right there with some water. So now when I turn it up this way, I'm gonna go ahead and get it fully. The water's down here. I'm gonna turn it down. It's gonna come up like this, hit the gold, and hopefully go out the top. All right, let's try it. Well, that was kind of hard to see. I couldn't see if I did anything. I might have got a tiny bit, but there's still quite a bit in there. Anyway, I'm gonna call that good enough for now, because let me see. That's enough for me to be happy with this. What is this, the 6th or 7th pull? I could get a lot more than that, but that's okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have to make that hole a little bigger. That is not what I was going for. Maybe I can do it with the hose without taking off the... Wow, I'm not gonna be able to even use the hose. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to use it over here out of the camera's view. Okay, that is not helping in the least bit. I probably just succeeded in trying to lose some gold there. Alright, hold on, y'all. This is, I think this is how we're gonna have to do this. You know what? This is crazy. What have I done? Yeah, there we go. There we go. What was I doing? Oh, that's what they mean by work smarter, not harder. About one more minute of me doing that, and I was gonna start raging like a Reuter. No joke. Alrighty. Alright. Now to further get this out, I'm just gonna put my finger there. Have some trying to escape around my finger, but mostly that's fine. I just kind of wanted to get an idea of what was there, and we can let it dry from here. I mean, I'm not upset with that. Oh, I got the hands of a Parkinson's victim. Now that's the camera moving around a little bit. There we go. Hell yeah. Alright, y'all, peace out.